This is my Module 6 reflection. So looking at the Google Fundamentals training, I thought it was very beneficial. I didn't know such a thing existed, but when I went to number 3 in the training, I really thought it was interesting. Something I learned and I thought would be really useful is their calendar section. I knew you could make a calendar with Google, but I didn't know you could share it. And I think that would be very helpful. A lot of times teachers want to collaborate or they want to combine their classrooms for a certain lesson. And it would be very easy if your school or even a few teachers were using the calendar sharing options, because you could look there, find out their schedule, see if they're available, if they're not, instead of having to interrupt their class or shoot that email that they may or may not be able to respond to quickly. So I thought that was very helpful. The Learning Center and how to create a classroom. In some of my courses that I'm taking with Fort Hays State right now, I am involved in a Google community. That's the basis of the virtual class. And I have enjoyed that, but I didn't know how you created it. I simply got on there and was part of the class. So learning how to create that community in that classroom was very interesting. And I think it would be useful. Kids could use it to collaborate on projects, but even just discussions. How easy would that be for a teacher to make a discussion and say, okay, part of your lesson today is to get on here and to participate into the discussion. That could be homework, that could be classroom time. Either way, I think you do have to be cautious though, because some students may or may not have computer access all the time, and it depends on what your school setting is. Are they a technology school? Do they have Google Chromebooks or laptops for all the students, or is this a setting where you're going to have to go to a computer lab and book the time to use it? But nonetheless, I thought that having one of those communities or classrooms on Google would be fantastic. In section 4, I knew that Google Sheets was similar to Microsoft Excel. And I didn't know that it could do so much more than Microsoft Excel. Just learning those different functions and those different vocabularies and formulas, that was really helpful, because I know many times there's something I want to do on Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets, but I don't know how to set up the formulas for it to do what I want to do. So having that reference there, I really enjoyed that. And then using the sheets to actually create progress reports would be something I would be interested in. A lot of times students are driven by a goal, and if they can check that goal online for themselves, that is wonderful. They could do that at home. Mom and dad want to see how they're doing. They can pull that up. You don't necessarily have to have a written document all the time sent or printed off. Class rosters, I think those would be very handy to do on there. When you're taking attendance, you can simply pull that up, take the attendance, send it to the school administration that takes care of that, and you're done, instead of having to print it out and send it with the kid down the hall that takes up class time. Also, you can have it at the click of the button. So if you ever need to print out a roster for something, it's right there. You don't have to go make a copy anywhere. So I found that to be very helpful. And all in all, I liked those. As far as being certified to teach others how to use it, I'm a little intimidated about that. I would want to experience more with the program and using it before I decided to do that. Working with the Google Slides and spreadsheets and presentations, I love it. Microsoft Office obviously has all those same functions, but you can do a little bit more with the Google accounts. When you look at Google Slides versus Google PowerPoint, truly there's not that much difference as far as what it looks like and how it's set up. The functionality is a lot like PowerPoint, so it's easy to transition into it. I thought that was really great. The nice thing about it is you can share that presentation with someone. You can have it editable with someone. Instead of a teacher having to file and fumble with jump drives all the time, just have your students share that document with you. You can view the slide presentation. You don't have to print them all out. That's very, very useful that way. As far as using the spreadsheets, again, that is something I think I would definitely want to use. You won't have to print off everything all the time, and just having that little cheat sheet of formulas that was in the training will go a long way. Microsoft Excel, I don't feel like you can do as much with. You're kind of limited because you can't share it. That's some of the downfalls and the positives. When you look at those with the Microsoft Office versus the Google Docs, the positives is that with the Google Docs, it's saved. You don't have to worry about clicking a button to save it. How many times have we all closed out of something, forgot to save our corrections, and there we go, we've lost it. It saves the latest corrections and copies of it for you. It's shareable, so you can do that online, and it's user-friendly, in my opinion. Now, the downfalls is you have to use internet. So if someone doesn't have access to internet, you're not going to be able to access those files. You're not going to be able to use those programs. So that's something you have to be cautious with, deciding when and what to use based on how advanced your school that you're in is with technology. Do they provide Chromebooks for all the students? Do you have to book a computer lab for students to use the technology? That's somewhere where you have to kind of pick and choose depending on your situation. But all in all, again, I learned a lot out of this lesson, and it's going to further my knowledge and help me along the way. So I enjoyed it.